The road was long, but grief made the miles disappear. Luther sat in the passenger seat. Monica drove in silence, both chasing the same ghost, for different reasons. The latest girl was 15, gone without a trace. Her name was Mary. Her mother posted flyers until her fingers bled. Same pattern, same mark. But this time, he left something else behind. A tape, not a recording of the crime, not screams, not chaos. This time it was music, a soft humming, a woman's voice, singing an old gospel tune. Monica played it over and over until the melody felt like a warning. Luther didn't speak, but his fists clenched every time the harmony hit. Then came the call. Burnt body found, female, black, young, same city. But this one dash wasn't Amari. It was someone else. Someone no one had reported missing. No family, no history, no name. Luther looked at her photo, his voice low. How many haven't even been searched for? Monica didn't answer. She couldn't, because the silence around black victims was louder than any siren. They dug deeper, new city, new cops, same resistance. Runaways, they said. Drugs, they shrugged. They didn't want to connect the dots. But Luther already had. He laid the photos out in the motel room. 9 victims. Same scars, same tape, same lullaby. And one name, a name buried in an old missing persons report, filed 22 years ago, Elijah Davis. His mother reported him missing after a fire. She said he was troubled, hearing voices, drawing pictures of burning houses. But no one believed her. They labeled him unstable, tossed the report, and forgot him. But the fire wasn't an accident. 3 people died that night, and he vanished. Until now. Monica found a handwriting match, a note in Nia's journal. Matched a hospital form signed by Elijah Davis in 2019. He was alive, and he was still burning things. They traced the address on the form, an abandoned church. Quiet, off the grid, moss on the steps. Windows blacked out. They waited till night, sneaking in with flashlights. No backup, no warrant, just desperation. The walls were covered in photos. Girls, charred bodies, pages from Bibles, burned at the edges. And in the center, a single mattress and a wall of tape recorders. Some playing, some rewinding, all filled with that same voice, soft, broken, singing lullabies. Monica whispered, "He's documenting them, not just killing, recording their pain." Luther scanned the room. He knew. This was it. This was where she died. But something else caught his eye. A photo nailed to the wall. Nia's face, but scratched out. Beneath it, a handwritten line. "She knew who I was." Monica turned to him. "Your daughter found him first." And then, a creak, floorboards above. They weren't alone. Monica drew her gun, whispered, "Stay behind me." But Luther stepped forward. He wasn't afraid anymore. Not of death, not of what he'd find, but of what would happen if he walked away now. A shadow moved at the top of the stairs. Slow, deliberate, then a voice, a man's, soft, almost polite. "You followed the music, good." They turned to the steps, but no one was there. Just another tape recorder, clicking on and playing that same humming voice. But now, there were words. "You took her from me, so I took her from you." Monica's face went pale. "He's not just a killer," she said. "He thinks this is a message." And Luther, for the first time, felt something colder than grief. "Recognition," he whispered. "He knew me before she died." The lights went out, pitch black. A door slammed upstairs, and a child's voice echoed through the church. "Daddy?" Monica spun around, gun raised. But Luther dropped his flashlight, hands shaking. That voice, it was Nia's. Darkness swallowed the room, but Luther stood frozen, not in fear, in memory. "Daddy?" The voice echoed again, faint, but sharp enough to cut through bone. Monica turned toward the stairs, gun up, every step forward an act of courage. But Luther didn't move. His heart had heard that voice before, not just in dreams, in voicemail. A message Nia left 3 days before her death, but the police never mentioned it because it was deleted, erased from the report. His hands shook as he pulled out his phone, opened a backup folder. There it was, Nia's last message. "Daddy, I think I found something. I don't know if I'm being followed, but if anything happens, remember this song." Then came the humming. That same humming, the one on the tapes, the one in the church. She'd met him and tried to warn them. Monica reached the top of the stairs. A door was ajar. She pushed it open. What she saw didn't make sense. A child's room. Fresh, warm light. A music box spinning slowly on the desk. Elijah Davis had built a shrine, not to God, not to his victims, to innocence, to the childhood he lost, and to the daughters he stole. On the walls, drawings by the girls, crayons and notebook paper. But one stood out. Signed in the corner with bold letters, NIA, it was a drawing of Elijah, tall, shadowed, standing over a fire, while a little girl reached for the light. She knew. She'd tried to save him, not with fear, but with empathy, Monica whispered. She wanted to stop him, not just escape. A sudden slam downstairs. They rushed back, but the church was empty. A fresh tape sat on the altar. Luther pressed play. "She asked me why I hurt people. I told her I was born burning. She said, maybe I didn't have to stay on fire. I didn't want to kill her. I wanted to believe her. But you wouldn't understand that." His voice cracked. "You were supposed to protect her, and you left her with the system that broke me." Luther's knees gave out. He dropped beside the altar, silent, gutted. All this time, he blamed the killer, but deep down, he knew. He trusted a broken system, and it cost him everything. Monica sat beside him, tape still playing. "I killed them because they didn't see me. I spared the ones who listened. Your daughter listened, but she saw too much." Click. End of tape. But not end of story. 3 weeks later, a press conference. The police couldn't bury it anymore. Evidence leaked, files released, internal emails showing officers dismissed Nia's report because they didn't believe a young black girl could identify a serial killer. They erased her voice, and in doing so, they enabled more death. Luther sat in the front row, not as a guest, not as a father, but as a reckoning when they called his name. He didn't speak with anger. He spoke with clarity. "We teach our daughters to be careful, but we don't teach the world to care." The audience held its breath as he held up a copy of Nia's drawing. "My daughter tried to save lives. They ignored her, covered for him. And now, we mourn more names than we can remember." A moment of silence, followed by an eruption of questions. But Luther was already walking out the door. Monica caught up to him. "You know it's not over," she said. "Elijah's still out there." He nodded and held up a new file. Another girl, another city, same lullaby. But this time, they wouldn't wait. The system failed again and again and again until a father stepped into its cracks and decided he wouldn't just mourn, he would make it bleed. Big question. What would you have done if it were your daughter, your neighbor, your city? Drop it on the comments. How many warnings do we ignore when they come from voices that don't fit the mold? Young, black, unbelieved. Elijah was a monster, yes, but he was also a symptom of rot and silence and generations of pain never given a name. Nia gave it one, and they buried her for it. If this story shook something in you, share it. Stories like this need light. And hit the subscriber button for more intriguing stories like this.